I didn't want to. There's AI is such a broad topic, and it's been done to death. If you go on YouTube, it's all any podcast talks about. But
Yeah.
so I kind of wanted to maybe try to focus on a specific aspect. But before I do, I wanted to go around with everyone and just ask, when you hear the words AI or you see whatever something pop up on your feed about AI, do you have a like ugh kind of reaction, or are you tired of it, or are you like, oh, this is intriguing, I'm kind of intrigued by AI? Do you are you sick of hearing it? Are you intrigued?
It's definitely ugh.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a bit
Like
sick of it
anytime you
too.
Google something now and your first result is just a paragraph that like maybe I can trust, but it might just be based on a recent news story that who knows. Like it's
What about the actual topic itself? Like if you I don't know, if you open up YouTube and it's just like everyone's talking about AI or some new AI thing, are you like um do you kind of just shut it out? You're like, I'm sick of hearing about this AI
oh yeah.
stuff.
I don't know that I ever paid attention.
Yeah, I mostly do too. I find it a bit interesting, but so little of it is applying to my life right now, at least in ways that I notice. I know,
Mhm.
like, obviously there's lots of little things like predictive text and stuff like that, but like I don't really use ChatGPT for much of anything.
Okay. And Jeremy, do you usually
Yeah,
have like a
I'm kind of like
repulsive thing?
kind of in the middle. I'm interested in always paying attention to it because I know it'll eventually be useful in different ways. But I think it becomes one of those topics where it it ranks highly in search terms, and so everyone writes about it, everyone talks about it, just because it'll get clicks. But you're getting very little like value out of most of the stuff that's coming out. It's just like every influencer, every podcaster, every YouTuber, every whatever is talking about it, and they don't really know anything more than you could pick up from a blog. There's going to be like 5 individuals on the planet who could intelligently talk about this topic for an hour, and the rest of them are just sort of like filling the void, filling space, and so it becomes this thing like it fatigues you because you're seeing it everywhere, but you're never actually learning anything real about it.
Mm.
So that's the part that frustrates me.
So okay, cool. So I think I would, of the four of us, I'm probably the most like pro AI, or like I'm very excited by it. I try to read it, and any chance I get, like I'll listen to like 3 hour conversation with Sam Altman or Elon Musk with like Lex Friedman, anything. I'll listen to the stuff, and I just find it very intriguing. Even the stuff that I don't understand or things that don't apply to me, I'm like, oh man, like imagine the. I just like the far off vision, whether it comes true or not. Like things like real time language translation tools and things like that, where I'm like, man, that'd be so cool to just like language is gone now. It's just like everyone can just talk to anyone they want in real time. Like just random examples like that. I'm always kind of intrigued by this kind of stuff. But the thing that kind of the thing I want to talk about mostly is a video I saw like last week, and the thing I don't like about AI is, of course, like the look at my, you know, picture I made with AI, that kind of stuff. I don't like seeing, or like look at my Star Wars trailer as if Wes Anderson directed it. I don't care about that as well. But for the first time ever, I did see a video compilation made where it was 100% AI, and it was just like, you've probably seen them going around. It's that VO3 thing where it's like real people kind of doing like selfie talks kind of thing, but someone made a really good compilation of like the best ones, and they kind of made a slight little narrative to it. It was only about a minute and a half. I tried to find it again, but it doesn't exist anymore. I couldn't, like, I even saved the tweet in my Discord, but it links to nowhere. But it was the only time where I watched this thing and it was actually engaging, and I was like, wow, this is actually a good story, and I would keep watching this if this was actually like a narrative, whatever, short film kind of thing. I would actually keep watching it as if it was real. And it was because everything looked 100% legit. Like there was no more weird like 5 thumbs. It was like legitimately like looking at a normal person, and they behaved the same. All their inflections were spot on. And this is like, and the tweet was actually, this is the worst it will ever be. And that's what kind of grabbed my attention. I was like, yeah, that's true. Like this is already pretty good, and today is the worst this thing will ever be. And I remember like 2 years ago, everyone saw like the Will Smith eating spaghetti thing. It was kind of funny. And now less than 2 years later, we have like full on, like, you could trick anybody with an AI video and it's fully voiced, fully acted or whatever. But anyway, sorry, I'm kind of going around in circles here, but the main point I wanted to get to eventually was, when I talk to people, at least in Vancouver, in the acting scene, is, you know, people really hate AI in Vancouver, and a lot of my, you know, a lot of acting friends, writing friends, they're very against it, but they also don't really know anything about it. Like, whenever you talk to them about it, they kind of associate it with like Elon Musk, who they don't like, or they'll associate it with like NFT, like that kind of feeling where it's like, oh, NFTs or crypto. Like, it kind of gets lumped into that feeling, and so they kind of just shut it out completely without ever looking into it at all. And I'm wondering, and my question finally is, do you think that this AI takeover, whether it's jobs or taking, you know, creeping into entertainment, do you think people see it coming? And do you guys think it'll actually happen in our lifetime, in the next 5 years, 10 years? Or do you think it's more of an NFT thing where it's like everyone's talking about it, it's not actually going to happen, we don't really need to like face it? Or do you think it's actually going to be a thing where it's like, oh, in 5 years, like 30% of people are going to have no jobs because they're all replaced, kind of thing? That's kind of the topic I kind of wanted to focus on. I don't know if anyone has any
I've actually
immediate thoughts.
thought about this actually back when Threads first launched, and I was excited to use it for like a 2 days or something. I remember posting this thing about how all of these technologies like crypto, NFTs, all that kind of stuff, they one of the main reasons they fail is because all of these Silicon Valley companies are rushing to be the first one to make it scalable and marketable and accessible to like the average consumer. And in doing that, they often lose their first impression, and they end up getting to a point where they ruin it for everybody else. And I think AI is at risk of that too, in that even amongst the four of us, like three of us are kind of ho-hum on it, and that's because we've been hearing about it so much, and we haven't really seen anything that would make us step back and go, oh wow, this is going to change my life, my day-to-day life. And I kind of wish that a lot of these companies would have kept things, rather than being so open source and open and approaching it the way that Silicon Valley usually does, is kind of play your cards closer to your chest and wait until you have like the killer app for it. You know, it's the same thing that happened with VR. It's the same thing that happened with AR. All of these tech companies, they invest so hard, and then everyone is sick of it by the time they reach a point where it's actually relevant to people and no one cares about it anymore. Like crypto still has uses. NFTs still has uses. VR and AR could be incredible, but everyone's kind of tired of them already. And I feel like AI is doing the same thing, where it's fatiguing the audience before it ever even is ready to be shown. And I kind of wish people would just stop rushing things and just wait until you have like I wish maybe AI was just coming out now with the VO3 stuff was just coming out now. That would have been incredible. But I've been seeing crappy videos for 2 years already, or 3 years, that I'm kind of just like, whatever, like who cares? Like,
it's even, there's that, what's it called, the Naisha, the Bollywood movie that's apparently a full 2-hour movie that's done completely with AI, and that's pretty recent. And like I watched it and I'm like, this is still never coming close to what people are.
Yeah,
but it's I don't know.
Yeah, we're in a weird place right now where it's still not doing that good of a job to me. Like I guess
it's also doing too good of a job at the same time.
Yeah, I guess, but I don't know. It feels like I'm not sure certain things will ever be completely replaced, because you'll still need a human to be like, no, that sucks. Like an AI doesn't know that it sucks.
That's the job I gotta get. Tell an AI when it sucks.
We talked about this before, like a few weeks or months ago or whatever. Just
our first test of this podcast was just me and you, and we just started talking about AI for like an hour.
Yeah, and one of the things that I kind of keep falling back on is that I'm like fine for the most part if AI wants to take over a lot of different things. Because for me it's the same today. Like the majority of audiences want to see like a turn your brain off, just watch explosions. It's a Marvel movie, it's a whatever movie, and that's fine, right? If I want to go find something that that I feel has more artistic value, I'm already part of a very small audience. And so if I'm looking at AI, I'm thinking the same thing where AI is going to be able to generate anything it wants, and it's going to be someday probably indistinguishable from whatever directors are making today. But at the same time, I'm always more interested in what a human has to say about something. It's not about the actual product, it's about connecting to that human, like me connecting to a director or me connecting to a writer who's also human. At the end of the day, I don't actually care what a robot has to say about the human experience, because it's not the human experience. It's the robot experiencing filtering, or robot filtering human experience through its
But when
its core.
that line blurs and you're not sure if it's a robot telling you a human experience or a
Yeah.
human telling
If
you
you
a
Right,
human
didn't,
experience.
and that's when it
yeah,
comes
if you
down to
didn't
like
know.
me saying like, well, I like that's fine. If I'm just looking at it from like an end product perspective, then yeah, it's going to make something that will make me cry one day or something, right?
Right.
But as soon as I find out, if like, oh, a robot did that, it lessens it for me, and I think people will start to seek out like human made stories, because we're human. We want to connect with humans, and at the end of the day, we're we all talk about how we're all addicted to our phones and we want real connections, and there's tons of apps and products out there designed to help you restrict yourself. There is already like a growing desire to have real human connection, and AI is not going to replace that for us. It's going to just deepen it to a degree where it's completely indistinguishable from one another. But at the end of the day, I'm still going to probably want to seek out a movie. Like, it'll be a crazy world when all of a sudden it's like we have to go to a theater and it's branded like this is a human made production, or this is a
It
human written.
still doesn't feel like we're even close. Like, there still hasn't been an album or a book or a movie that people look at and go, oh, that's a great robot made piece of art. Like, it hasn't happened. It doesn't even feel like it's been particularly close yet.
I think
So,
my thing with that is that I think the amount of time in which it's advancing and getting closer is getting pretty crazy. And the thing with AI is that it compounds. So it's like it won't need another 2 years to do the Will Smith spaghetti to the lifelike. It'll need a fraction of that time to improve 3 times as good. Like, it just keeps getting faster and faster. And I kind of think that we are pretty close to seeing things where we're going to be like, okay, so one of my examples is that a lot of my friends, they'll always use this. If they see a bad movie, they'll always use this like slur kind of thing where they're like, oh, it was so bad, it was as if AI wrote it. And I'm like, so you kind of don't really see the irony there, where you're already saying that we already suck. Like, we as humans, that was a human made thing, and it was so bad that you're comparing it to this other thing. And I'm like, we're already terrible. Like, I think a robot could make. I think AI will be able to make Marvel movies way better than
how
anyone.
far out do you think that is?
Uh,
Until like there's actually a movie that people want to see.
I think
in
I think
theaters that
I think it'll be capable of doing it in the next like 8 years, but I think laws will prevent it probably from happening as soon as it's ready. Like, maybe even sooner. Like, even in 5 years, I could see there being a 90-minute movie that looks like, whatever the newest Superman movie, and you would not be able to tell at all. But will we actually see it? I don't think so. I think a lot of studios will be like, at first, there's going to be a lot of weird laws and stuff because like actors don't want to be replaced, blah blah blah, and all that kind of stuff. I think the arts, maybe there'll be some pushback, but I think the technology will be there very soon. I think
It's also I think was Sam Altman said it cost them something like $3 million or something, because so many people constantly want to thank that chat GPT. So they'll ask it to do something, and
smart.
then it'll say thank you, and that just having to answer it costs them millions of dollars. And I think I can't imagine even just the environmental impact, the amount of energy it would need to crank out a 90-minute movie will be catastrophic to whatever community is living around it. Like there's already people, like I was watching an interview the other day about how they can't drink their water anymore because it's the AI data center has pulled all of the water from the surrounding community to cool itself, and all they get out of their pipes now is like this like weird sediment brown leftover stuff, right? So and all we're doing now is, I mean, we can't even, you know, we're playing like a couple minute 30-second clips of stuff, right? So in order for AI to generate a 90-minute video, and then if you scale that to the point where you're sort of like anybody can create movies now, like do we even have a planet anymore? Like obviously there's going to be like technologies to hopefully clean it up and as anything, but it does seem really power hungry to do a lot of this stuff.
Something I wanted to also bring up, which is a lot of people find this, are kind of surprised by this, but whenever I go to cafes every day to write, and already, oh, by the way, Jeremy, your screen, it looks like you might be losing your internet again. It is freezing, and now it's low quality kind of thing. I don't know if your internet
good again to me.
Is it? Okay, maybe it's me. Maybe it's AI. When I go to cafes, I am like everyone around me is on ChatGPT, and it's like seniors. Like there'll be like a guy who's like 70. He's on ChatGPT. Students.
Doing what?
I don't know. I've always been curious to ask what they're doing. Students are like, if you, I work at a bar, and so I'm always talking to like students that are, they use chat all the time. Like that's like it's not even a new thing anymore. It's like it's not even just a cheat. Like they're actually using it to create whatever Excel spreadsheets, all this kind of stuff. I use it also now. Like I think I use AI like, I don't know, 12 times a day. Like I'm always on it. Like I'm planning a trip right now. It's making my trip planning so easy. You can use it for like scene partners. Like the Grok voice thing is insane. Like it truly feels like you're just doing an improv with an actual person. And I could see just from witnessing it already seems like when like Google kind of took over, where like everyone's Googling stuff, it already seems like people are already adopting ChatGPT way faster than I thought they ever would. And so I'm kind of wondering, going back to my original question of like, do we actually think some mass huge thing will happen? I personally do think it seems like we're headed to like a pretty big change. I was watching this interview with the guy, I should have got his name, but he's been responsible for like several huge he's saved Hollywood over and over again. Like he's the one who created the movie of the week. He's the one who's like, he's done so many different things, and he's had nothing but successes. And so his track record is pretty spot on. And he said that AI is 100% like happening in the next like 3 to 5 years. And like tons of people are going to be out of their jobs, and it's going to be like the Renaissance era times 1,000. Like he said, this is going to be the craziest jump. No one knows it's coming. No one's going to be prepared for it, but it is going to happen. So if like, I don't know, I keep hearing that over and over again from people that seem to know the most about it. And again, it could be all hype. It could be nonsense, but I don't know. I'm kind of on the side of, I think it's probably going to happen in the next like 3 to 5 years.
I don't think worlds are prepared to deal, or the governments are prepared to deal with that kind of unemployment.
Yeah.
Like that would be a whole other kind of disaster if that happens.
That's when they are saying that's when like a UBI kind of thing and like a Star Trek like system would come into effect.
But universal basic income, that's on a country by country basis at best.
Yeah.
And
AI is worldwide.
Yeah. So it could come in and it could just nuke countries if that's how it's going to be.
And then when I picture that outcome that you just said, that makes me think of like the more darker like sci-fi movies where there's like huge class disparities that are just like the upper city, and then there's like the slums where like the majority of people live and they've just been destroyed and stuff. I'm like, I wonder if that's where we're headed, or we're going to be headed more for like a Star Trek, more of a peaceful thing.